It's Tuesday of week 14. We have 2 weeks of class left. This week is a pretty light week. Our focus this week is on providing feedback to others, something you should be well prepared to think about given that we've workshopped Module 4 and Module 5 work so far for class. Today we're going to focus on poster and brochure design, and you'll have the opportunity to earn 25 extra credit points. For Thursday, there are no readings and nothing else due other than your draft Module 6 work and participating in workshopping each other's Module 6 drafts. Module 6 is due this Sunday, December 6th, uploaded to D2L by 10 a.m. Eastern, and you'll be uploading both the document that you chose to redesign, the original, and your redesign work.
Sound system.
Today we're going to talk about and work on giving feedback, and we're going to use brochures as our example. Brochures are a genre that are ideal for compiling in InDesign, the layout program we're using for our Module 6 work. If we look back to that infographic by Jason Happy I shared last week, InDesign is ideal for brochures, flyers, and newsletters. So here's the context of our work today. You're a communications intern with the Wikimedia Foundation. Their commitment is to free knowledge and building that knowledge together as a global community. They host a ton of great projects related to this mission and sharing media, information, documents, and more. And their most popular project is Wikipedia. Wikimedia as an organization follows the same sort of open sharing approach they foster online, on their websites and Wikipedia, for instance, as they do in their internal work. That is, it's based on shared content. Wikimedia is in the process of a huge branding and promotion campaign for a 2030 launch. And at that point, it's likely that their look and feel will really change. But in the meantime, Wikimedia provides some general access to open content for partner organizations to use. And they're pretty open about wiki orgs creating their own material. Think about how rare this is, especially in a corporate context. Could you imagine a company like Coca-Cola saying, well, here's some brand collateral. Here's some logos and colors and brand guidelines, but do what you want with it. The corporate world doesn't work that way. But nonprofits often have a bit more freedom and flexibility in terms of how they share content and negotiate their brand identity. Some of the wiki orgs affiliated with Wikimedia have approached you for feedback on their draft material. Head to our class Google Drive folder after you've watched this video and look for a Giving Feedback Designing Brochures subfolder. In that subfolder, you'll find 5 draft brochures and 5 corresponding response memos. The Google Drive folder should look something like this, and I know this is blurry. All of the brochure drafts are PDF and the response memos are Google Docs. Take a look quickly at all 5 design drafts. Then choose one draft brochure to respond to. Find its corresponding response memo, and in that memo, provide one design compliment you have for the designer and one design recommendation you have, and try to be as descriptive and specific as you can. Be sure to include your initials at the end of your compliment and at the end of your recommendation so I can allocate your extra credit points if you choose to participate. Posting a design compliment and a design recommendation is a great warm-up for our Module 6 workshopping on Thursday. And again, if you participate by noon tomorrow, Wednesday, December 2, you can earn 25 extra credit points. Again, we're going to continue this focus on giving good feedback Thursday when you'll share a draft of your Module 6 work for feedback. And I want to talk again a little bit about the why we're spending this time on responding to other people's work. First, good writers make the people around them better writers. Good designers make the people around them better designers. Giving constructive, productive feedback is a skill, and it's learned by providing feedback. It's easy to say, oh yeah, that looks great. Or no, I don't like that. It's much harder to engage in constructive critique and help people develop their writing and their design. Likewise, receiving and deciding if and how to implement constructive, productive feedback is an important skill, and one that you learn by accepting and wrestling with feedback. And finally, for many of us, and depending on where you intern or work, you might not actually be doing a lot of document design or any graphic design. There might be a brand strategy team for that, or a graphic designer who does that work, or your company might outsource the design work to a design company, but you will be in a position where you'll be writing copy and contributing design ideas. Before we toggle over to today's activity, I want to take a moment and pause in this flyer. A student used this for Module 6 the last time I taught this class. He did a Google search for bad flyer and he found it right away. His redesign was okay, but we had a conversation as a class about this flyer. This flyer is from Newark, New Jersey. But in my neighborhood in South Lansing, you can find flyers that look a lot like this in any of the Quickie Marts and gas stations in my neighborhood. I suggested in class that perhaps this flyer wasn't meant for the student who found it and used it as a bad example. I also suggested that for its purpose and context and the audience it was for, this was actually right in line with genre conventions, cultural expectations, and design considerations. As you choose a bad flyer or book jacket to redesign for Module 6, please do some self-reflecting and some analyzing. Are you the audience for the flyer? Is the flyer perhaps appropriate for and appealing for the audience it's designed for? Bad and good design, as we've talked about all semester, is contextual, rhetorical, and cultural. I hope today's activity is helpful for you in practicing to give good feedback and in thinking about some of the moves you might make in redesigning the flyer or the book cover that you're redesigning for Module 6. Again, if you want to participate in today's brochure activity, do so by noon tomorrow, Wednesday, December 3rd, for extra credit points. On Thursday, we'll be workshopping your Module 6 drafts, and please do participate, whether you have a kind of clunky initial draft or a pretty far along polished draft you want some feedback on. I'll send out workshopping instructions on Thursday morning, and be sure when you share your draft to participate that you upload the original you chose to redesign and your draft redesign work. As always, let me know if you have any questions about our work for today or about your Module 6 work as you continue to work on it.